Rated Gina Davis flick. Dun 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 dun. Got my keys in my pocket. Dun 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 dun.
What I love about Harlan too is, I mean, in the 90s, he was making movies like The Long Kiss Goodnight and Cutthroat Island that starred Gina Davis as an absolute badass, and they had huge budgets. You didn't have many of those movies in the 90s. I know you had like Cynthia Rock doing straight to DVD. You had movies like The Net or like Sleeping with the Enemy. But then you have Gina Davis in an R-rated movie just wiping people off the map. And then she was the star of Cutthroat Island, which was like $100 million. I mean, Rennie Harlan, I don't know, I like what he was doing back then. I mean, those movies didn't quite do too well, but he was one of the few guys directing really big. And also, I don't think a lot of people knew what to do with Gina Davis's character in The Long Kiss Goodnight in the 90s. She was such a badass.
That movie listen to me. That movie comes out today. It gets nominated for a Golden Globe minimum.
No, you're right.
Because she was a beast, and she also cared about the children.
Yeah, she liked her kid.
Yeah.
And then you get the crazy bad guy. I love Sam Jackson in that movie. I love his grimy private detective, I guess.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Gotta talk to her tomorrow. Dun, 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 dun. It's so ridiculous. His mnemonic for remembering things.
Has a movie before done that where they jump out of a building and she shoots a circle through the ice and then they land into the water? That was comic book. That's comic book.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's comic book. That's not movie. Not yet. That was dope.
And there's also some good snowmobile stuff in it and no jet skis. So that makes me happy.
Jay, are you a fan? You seem a little on the fence. A Long Kiss Goodnight.
I like it. Been a while since I've seen it. I've only seen it a couple of times, so it's one I need to revisit. But I remember enjoying it. I remember Sam Jackson especially being good. You're saying about it if it came out today. I feel like Atomic Blonde didn't do that well, and maybe has some similarities to that. So it might not be Oscar nominated, but I think it would still fare better than it did back then. Perhaps.
I think that though, while the gist of the two movies were the same, I don't think Atomic Blonde was as good as Long Kiss.
Oh no, definitely not. No.
Oh no. Because I like the fights and all that in Atomic Blonde. Charlize Theron's good. Sofia Boutella, I dig all that. That dude McAvoy, he's good in that.
Yeah, James McAvoy. Yeah.
I don't know. There's some fun heart in Long Kiss Goodnight, and it's got the comically.
That's the thing. The development, man. Every character had a soul. Even the bad guy had some bit of relatability. That was his kid, you know?
And I like the first attack on the house where she sort of knows she has some powers. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, man. All right, well, I guess back to Deeply.
Well, yeah. This is kind of the first time we've seen or heard from Stellan Skarsgård. So when we first meet an actor in these films, I like to say like where they were in their career at this point. So 99. This is his only film credit for 99. But before this, he'd just done Ronin. He had been in Amistad, Good Will Hunting, Insomnia, Breaking the Waves. I've not seen a lot of his early stuff, his more like foreign language stuff. I've only seen his American films, but he was a pretty established actor. Like he's got a decent sized role in Good Will Hunting. So to go from that into what could have looked on paper as just another generic monster movie was a risky move, but I think it paid off.
And you know what else I like? This is going to sound random, and I'm going to get on a soapbox here, but you have two directors. I'm just going to say Paul W.S. Anderson, and then you have Rennie Harlan. I think their movies have been unfairly maligned, but I like how in movies like Death Race, Paul Anderson brings in 3-time Oscar nominee Joan Allen to be the warden. Like these are guys who, in Event Horizon, they brought in like Lawrence Fishburne, Sam Neill. I mean, big
Jason Isaacs.
Yeah, Jason Isaac. He brought in actors. And I think Rennie Harlan likes doing that too. I mean, Cliffhanger, you bring in John Lithgow as the villain.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, it's just, I love how, like, Long Kiss Goodnight, you bring in the excellent actors for this. And this movie, he's bringing in, like you said, Stellan Skarsgård. So, and he, like, Australia's version of Kate Winslet with
Jacqueline McKenzie.
Jacqueline McKenzie. No, we learned that, Norbert.
Last week's episode, we had an Australian guy on last week, and he said that she's like the Kate Blanchett of Australia.
But these guys, they love bringing in good they get it. They want to fill their silly movies with good actors. Like that's what they're all about, and I dig that about them. And it was another smart choice by bringing in Stellan. And I mean, he has one of the. Well, I don't want to talk about it. Maybe he read his death scene. He's like, I got to do this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Well, he has some great lines. He's not in the film for a long time, but he
No,
makes the
he's
most
not.
of what he's got.
He's always been a guy who not only just chews the scenery, but you're drawn to him immediately once he starts talking. He's that kind of dude, man. And that Chernobyl miniseries, oh my God.
Oh yeah, he is so good.
Nails it in that. Side note, Cliffhanger, arguably one of the greatest movies of all time. I will not debate this. I love Cliffhanger.
I wouldn't argue with you. I'd love to cover it on a future show.
Because there's a line to be. I'll just real quick. There's a line to be drawn between Cliffhanger and Vertical Limit.
Both movies we covered on the Movies, Films, and Flix podcast.
Yes, sir. That's right. They are both absurd. They both prove that to be a good climber, you have to go through a horrible disaster. Oh, so you're that good. Yeah, I broke all my legs.
Both of them.
Yeah.
I just like how literal the title of Cliffhanger is.
He hangs from cliffs. He absolutely does.
Where is Deep Blue Sea predominantly set?
In the Deep Blue Sea.
There we go.
Oh, man.
That's right.
And one last thing about Cliffhanger, and I know this is a Deep Blue Sea podcast, but in Cliffhanger, and if you want to listen to it, the full episode is on Movies, Films, and Flix. It's one of our more popular episodes. People seem to really like it. But there's a scene where John Lithgow's in a helicopter and Sylvester Stallone has a bag of cash. John Lithgow is like, give me the cash to Sylvester Stallone. Stallone says, okay. Stallone throws the cash into the helicopter blades and the cash just explodes. Lost forever. And John Lithgow just lets out this, no! He was betrayed. He felt like Sylvester Stallone betrayed him and that he really thought he was going to get the cash. And when he didn't, his Shakespearean no is just epic. It's one of my favorite moments of the movie.
Best line in the movie is, we need insulin. Would you have thought of that? We need insulin. I love that. I'm going to watch that movie now. Are you kidding me?
So speaking of the title of films, this is the first scene underwater. This is so far the deepest, bluest scene of Deep Blue Sea. And I want to keep track of this as to, do we have a deeper, bluer scene? Because this one's not very blue.
No.
We only have a little bit of blue when the camera goes under the water. That's pretty much the only blue. So that's something that we need to look out for, Mark, is how deep and blue the scenes are. To try and find the deepest, bluest scene.
Oh, I love that. I think I have an idea, but I'll save it for the episode when we're doing it.
But so far, this is winning, because it's the first one that's below sea level. So.
Oh, I love it. And because the first one's not blue yet when he's grabbing and swimming.
Not at all.
It's a little... Well, the first one with the party boat, there's some shots underwater, but it's mostly on the surface, so it's more blue but less deep.
Agreed.
It's like a graph. We need to plot these on.
We need a chart.
Yeah.
That's your job, Mark.
All right, at the end of every episode, we'll rank the deepest, bluest.
Okay.
And so we have a spreadsheet. I'll just add, do you mind if I add a category to it?
Go for it. It's all yours, Mark.
All right, cool.
Shall
So we'll do that.
see.
All right. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Oh, the when they're heading down the elevator, the score is very mystical. It's like a very kind of fantastical. It's like they're heading into the depths of some fantasy planet, like going down to Pandora or something. It's not very horror. It's really like fantasy almost. Ooh. It's odd. I like it. It adds to the horror like what's going to happen down here kind of vibe. But it's not what you'd expect from an exposition scene of heading down into a science facility.
The music is very soaring and sweeping for a movie about mutant sharks who want to eat every human they see. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I want this soundtrack on vinyl. Mondo needs to do a fancy thing for it. I just got the Crawl soundtrack on vinyl. I need to get this. Yeah, I need it.
And one quick note about the sound design. When Jim is walking away from Susan but still talking, I like how the echo in his voice increases. Because he's just going further away. It's sort of like a big stone room. There's just this subtle echo to it. It's just I like the attention to detail paid there.
Nice.
Wow. And in actuality, there's in a soundstage with a bunch of cheap walls.
Yeah.
Wow.
I personally like how Welcome to Aquatica was supposed to be like Welcome to the Rock.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Exactly. It didn't quite hit that hard, but she tried. It's because she's so pixie-like.
It doesn't help that they cut and be like, welcome to Aquatica cut.
Yeah. One did not sit. That's right.
No.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
All right, well, this was fun. Thank you, guys.
Do you have anything you want to plug before we go, Norbert? Anything to promote?
Oh, yeah. I was going to get us out of here.
Me? No,
Yes.
not yet. One day I will plug something, but not now. Right now,
Can
it's
anyone
gonna be
find you on?
something-
Are you on Twitter or Instagram or anything?
Okay. There you go. It's the beer talking. Yes. Norbert O. Morvan on Twitter. No, actually, Norbert O. Morvan on Instagram. Eddie Kane on Twitter.
Very nice, very nice. Well, you can find the podcast, us. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. We're all at Deep Blue Sea Pod and all those things. And you can email us deepblueseapod@gmail.com. If you have any questions or suggestions or anything we do wrong, let us know. Anything we miss, we'd love to hear it. And you can find more of my writings. I'm at Life vs. Film on Twitter and at jcluitt, JAYCLUITT, on Instagram. What about you, Mark?
I just want to say hello to all my Moldovan fans because the MFF podcast just hit #1 there in
Well
Moldova.
done. Congratulations.
So I want to say hi to everyone if you're listening to this. Also, listen to the Movies, Films, and Flix podcast, Movies, Films, and FLIX. Also, Norbert is a guest. He's been a guest on maybe 10 episodes, and our Total Recall episode is actually the #1 episode that Movies, Films, and Flix has. So if you're bored and you want to hear more from Norbert, head over to the podcast, check out Total Recall. Also, read the reviews. I write for Rotten Tomatoes, so go check out the stuff I write for them, Mark Hoffmeyer. Watch the Versus videos on their YouTube page. And yeah, that's it. I'm good. All right, so for me, Mark Hoffmeyer.
And me, Jay Cluitt.
I'm Norbert Morvan.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Bye.